All this week, we are learning more about manufacturing here in our region.
Taking a look at what is made in our hometown, but being used all over the country and perhaps all around the world. First up, Hammer Packaging in Henryetta, which is where we find Ashley this morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, we are kicking off Made in Our Hometown Week right here in Henryetta at Hammer Packaging, and you can see just why. 23 billion labels, that's billion with a B, printed here every year on some of the things that you have in your cupboards right now. You see them at the grocery store. We're talking the Campbell's soup, Genesee beer. We're talking fridge. It's even in your fridge. All of the stuff made right here in our area. So that's all over the world. And look at this. We're going to talk about the history. 107 years of history here. This is a lithostone. This is how they used to print all those labels. We're going to show you how they do it now, show you all of the process they go through to do all of this, to make sure it goes from here to the stores, to your house. But look at all these awards. They're doing something right here. We're going to be talking about the success. Lots of times we hear about things that aren't going right in businesses. We're talking about the award-winning work that they are doing here at Hammer Packaging. More than 500 employees working to make some awesome stuff right here in our community. We'll see you coming up at 6:35 to show you how they start the process.
100 years, Hammer Packaging has been making and printing labels for products that you might have in your cupboard.
Yeah, they work. The work they do is seen all over the world. And that's why we're kicking off our Made in Our Hometown Week with them. Ashley is in Henryetta this morning.
Yeah, good morning. We showed you a little bit of the products of the 23 billion labels that you guys print every year, Lou. Now we're starting the process of it. So right now, Jerry is working on a proof, right?
Jerry is working on a file,
file,
This
okay.
is our pre-press department, and what he's doing is he's making sure that everything in this particular label is going to print exactly the way we want it to. It's all about predictability, and we want to make sure that when we're on press, the first label we print looks exactly like the 30th million label we print,
Yes.
right? So when they're on the shelf, you need your products to look identical. Otherwise, you think something's wrong with it.
Yes.
So Jerry is the very front end of the process. And when he's done, he's going to be generating a proof, which we've set up over here.
And you make sure you can look at it, give it with the old eyes.
This is what everybody approves in the process.
Okay.
This is not the same thing that he's actually working on, but in this particular case, this will get signed off on by the customer. And they'll say, we like the color, the green is the green that we want it to be. And this piece will go out to the press.
Okay.
And when they're printing, they're going to compare it to this piece. And we have equipment that does it digitally so that they can make sure we're matching the proof.
Wow. And the proof gets printed on plates, right?
Well, the proof gets printed in here on an inkjet system.
Okay.
And then this is an example of a printing plate.
Okay.
So this, from what Jerry's working on, in one particular case, this is a black plate. So he's working on this particular color, and in this job, there might be 7 individual colors. So each color gets its own plate, which is going to be made in this department. And this is an example of a sheet that comes off the end of the press. When we go out to the press room, you're going to see this running maybe on the fastest press in North America.
Yeah.
When we go back out there, our newest press, which runs 20,000 sheets an hour.
Oh my gosh, so you've got the fastest press in North America. You also have the largest?
We have one of the largest there that's doing labels, yeah.
And Dave is working on...
Dave is making plates right now. So that plate you just saw, in this particular piece of equipment, that sheet, that aluminum is moving through here, and it's going to get etched with a laser. And you can see on his screen, it's developing what that layout is in that particular color.
Wow.
And as that's going to build. So you're laying color on top of color on top of color in order to create your image.
Oh my gosh. Again, they've been doing this for 107 years, so they know a thing or two about making this all work. Multiple awards. We're going to head into the press room next, correct? And we'll show you some more. Their location here in Henryetta before we head over to another location, you guys.
Ooh, on the move.
Very nice. Thank you, Ashley. Some of the most iconic logos that you see in the store or possibly on a shelf at your home are created and printed right here at Hammer Packaging.
Yeah, it's where we are beginning our week-long look at products made right here in our hometown. And Ashley is learning more about all they do this morning.
All right, we moved into the press room where there's a lot of action going on. And Lou, this is a really cool piece of machine here.
Yeah, this is one of our newer presses that we just installed. And what we're doing here is we're taking a roll of paper. We're unwinding it into what's really a sheet-fed press.
Okay.
So this roll is going to unwind. It comes into a sheeter that will custom cut the sheet into a particular size, like the one that you saw in the pre-press area. It comes on down onto a vacuum belt.
Okay.
And right here we start the modern miracle of engineering. These sheets are going to get picked up by a little gripper, and it's going to take the edge of that sheet and pull it through this press at 18,500 sheets an hour and transfer it between every unit.
Wow, and this is really cool what we're seeing here.
In here what you're seeing is the ink being distributed into the ink train. It's agitating it to keep the viscosity going. And then as we move down the press, every color is different, and every plate that we saw earlier is mounted inside here, and it's accepting that ink.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And when you're talking about fastest and largest, these are what we're talking about, these pieces of equipment out here.
Oh yeah, these pieces of equipment are millions of dollars. This back end of this is an extended dryer, so we have multiple ways of curing and drying that ink on press.
And then up here we're seeing some of the finished product. Oh my gosh, look at all of the labels in there. Wow.
So this is the sheets delivering on the back end of the press. In this particular case, we're running Hellmann's mayonnaise.
Wow.
And you see how fast that's coming at you. So
really
these guys have a whole bunch of tools in order to make sure that color is staying perfect. Remember, label number 1's got to look exactly like label number 30 million.
Yeah, so the beginning and the end have to look the same.
And you can see the sheets here. We have a spectrophotometer, which is going to come over and check all the color. They're monitoring where they are within their ranges. Here they have a screen. Tells them exactly what's going on by print unit, and they're actually linked directly to Germany right now. If anything happens, there's an engineering team ready to support them.
Wow, and then over here, we've got to look at just when we're saying 23 billion labels, there's tens of thousands of different companies that you guys are printing labels for.
Yeah. This is a sample pile, and this is just one particular press and the variety of work that it does. So you see Mott's, you know, Jones Soda.
Yep.
You have the Campbell Soup label that we saw inside, V8 Splash. So you can see we go through a wide variety of materials, major consumer product companies, and we're doing all their brands. And these are combinations of all your Lysol wipes. You can see Snapple in the background. So it's all done here in Rochester with a highly skilled workforce.
Absolutely.
We have some of the best people in the industry working here right now.
Absolutely. We're actually going to head over to another location where you guys do a lot of work and show you that coming up in just a bit, you guys.
Cool to see everything that's in our house right there. All the labels.
That's where it starts.
That's where it begins. About manufacturing here in our region. Yeah, we're taking a look at what is made in our hometown, but is being used all over the country and the world. Yeah, first up is Hammer Packaging. That's where we find Ashley this morning. And Ashley, this is such a fascinating look at a company that makes things that we see in our home and on the store shelves, right?
Yeah, we have moved over to their second location in the Tech Park here in Gates, Rochester Tech Park. From Henryetta now here to Gates, and this is a different kind of printing you're doing here, Lou.
Absolutely. This is our flexographic division that we have over here. And right now we're at our newest piece of equipment that was installed middle of last year. This is a 10-color press.
Okay.
Very flexible. It makes multiple styles of labels. So in my hand, I'm holding an example of a pressure-sensitive label. Okay. So this is a label that would be automatically peeled off of this carrier and placed onto the back of a Naked Juice 64-ounce jar.
Wow.
And this roll, after it's printed, is going to be slit into individual rows. So we're going to watch it print, and then we're going to walk over to the slitter and actually see how we cut this up and ship it to a manufacturer.
And again, 23 billion labels every year.
23 billion labels. And you can see this is a little different than the other technology, but concept of printing is the same. We have our ink units. So you have 10 different inks going down through here.
Wow.
The plating technology is very different from what we saw with lithography. In this particular case, it's a little bit, in the most simplistic terms, like a rubber stamp, where the ink is going onto the surface of the plate and then transferring onto the material that you...
And then it goes down each one.
Goes down each unit.
And you said this is relatively easy to switch between which product you're printing for.
Well, yeah, in the last press, you couldn't see the plates themselves. In this particular case, when we stop the press, they can literally lift these up, put them onto a carrier, and then put a new plate on. And as long as we're running the same colors, we can start right up again and go to the next flavor.
Wow.
You know, I mean, we need to be doing these things very fast.
Yes, absolutely. And you can see it all going through there.
And as it comes into here, we're actually going into a die cutting station right here.
Okay.
So if you notice, these labels actually are cut around there so that they can remove off of the carrier one by one. So while it's running in the front part of the press, it's all a solid piece of film. But in here, we have a series of dies that split it. And then this is the remaining matrix that gets pulled out of that.
Yeah, you can see the in-between coming off into there. Oh, wow.
And then here is all our color control system, quality system. They're able to look at this, and the cameras are so fast.
Yeah.
If they see a lint or any imperfection in here, alarms will sound, and it'll stop the press so that we can go in and fix it.
So that's an actual image right there that Tim and the guys are looking at here.
While it's running at speed, yes.
Wow.
I know, the technology is awesome.
Wow. That is amazing, and you can see them then all.
Right. And when you come to the finished roll, obviously we can't apply these onto bottles.
Yes.
Because, you know, it's 3 wide. So we're going to walk over to a slitter and show you.
Wow. This is amazing. Now, you said this used to be a Kodak facility, and now you guys are here. Again, manufacturing is still a big part of our area here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you can see the mix of products here.
Yeah,
that's the
there's
front
the naked
end
juice.
of the naked juice that goes on here, and you can see the variety of different ones. We do right guard deodorant labels, a wide variety of work.
Wow. Holy cow.
And this is for High Falls, local business.
Yep.
You know, they're doing all the Seagram's escapes there.
That's my favorite one to drink.
Yeah, High Falls products, everybody. And Ledestri. Well, you're going to go to Ledestri this week.
Yes, we will, yeah.
We'd love to do more business with them. Let them know when you're there.
I will. But is this the slitter then?
This is a slitter. So what this is going to do is it's going to take that roll of Seagram's and it's going to cut it into individual rows so that they can apply them onto the fronts of the bottles.
Oh my gosh, all done right here. Now we're engaged, but right here in our own community. There you go.
And you can see the finished rolls coming off in the back, so we're going to split this up into 6 rolls.
Oh my gosh, so cool. You guys, look how many different products we have a role in them. Globally, some of these products are getting shipped all across the world. They're in your cupboards, your fridge. You know you've had those. This is where their labels come from, you guys.
Yeah.
And if you don't buy them, because it's here in Rochester.
There you go. Okay. He told us. I like it. All right. For more than 100 years, Hammer Packaging has been making and printing the labels for many of the products you have in your cupboards.
Yeah, they work. They do here.
They do work. It happens here. And it's seen all over the world. And it's where we are kicking off our week-long Made in Our Hometown series. Ashley is checking it out this morning. Hello, Ashley.
Hey, good morning. We moved to another spot here at their Tech Park location, your new space in here.
Yeah, welcome to our new space, huh?
Yes.
We continue to grow the business, and, you know, we're constantly looking for people to come help us run this, right?
Yeah.
But this is our new beautiful space. It's a lot more organized because we can move around.
Yeah.
You'll see over here we're finishing the process that we left off in the last segment. We're running Chef Boyardee microwavable foam labels right now. So when you buy that little Chef Boyardee cup and you don't want to burn your fingers, it's done right here in Rochester.
That's awesome.
And this is a continuation of all the slitting. But here I want to really talk to you about how we make a shrink sleeve.
Okay.
So
we see these a lot on different bottles.
And now you said this is from where you're about, right?
I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, and this is from Johnstown. So I drank this growing up. I live near Johnstown before I moved up here, so I saw this. I was like, wait a minute.
I'll give you some samples you can hang on the wall, all right? So what we're basically going to do here is we're going to take that flat roll and we're going to create a tube. And this tube is going to go on an automated machine that shoots over the bottle, and then it's going to use hot air or steam in order to shrink it onto the container.
Wow.
So whenever you see those in the marketplace, that's how it's done.
Happens. So it's over here is where the machine that does that.
Let's take a look.
All right.
So here's the roll before it's been seamed.
Okay.
And you can see we're going to turn it into this tube.
Okay.
So we have a very high-speed piece of equipment that's going to do that.
Okay.
The roll gets mounted, and it's going to unwind, as you see what's happening right here.
Okay.
And we're going to steer it, and on this very far end of the edge, we're going to apply an adhesive. And that adhesive is going to create a seam that we're going to nip together and hold it into its tube.
Okay.
So as it comes into here, you can see what we call a plow fold, basically.
Okay.
And that plow fold is steering that web together. And you can see the seam right in here. In here is a box that has this nip roller that's going to squeeze it together and then hold it up firm.
And then there you can
Oh, and right in here, you're going to see we're going to change on the fly. So this is fully automated.
So a new roll.
So we don't have to stop the machine while we're running.
Whoa.
Ready?
Wow.
There it goes. Now, if you stand back here, you can actually see technically the way this moves, it's oscillating side to side so that the seam is never directly on top of the other seam. Otherwise, it'll create too much pressure and it'll bind it and lock it together.
Wow. That is so cool.
And he's grabbing a sample right there. He's going to run a quality check on it. And then the finished product gets moved over to here. And you can see we're going to palletize it.
Wow.
Separate it in various layers. And, you know, heads off to the dairy.
Yeah.
Now, we do this, I mean, shrink sleeves are a huge part of our business here at Hammer. We'd love to do Upstate Farms business if you're listening, along with Ledestri. But, you know, this is, it's a lot of varieties. I mean, Gallica runs a lot of teas and different products. And
oh, yes. Yeah. That is amazing. I mean, to have we have a part in things that are going all across the world, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing that we're doing here at Hammer that's really cool is there's a company based over at the old Kodak Park that's actually working with us. We're not allowed to name them, where we're taking this scrap and we're trying to create a process to close the loop. They're going to grind it down and turn it into a resin that could be made back into the original film that we'll print on again.
Oh my gosh.
So as we work towards, you know, a more sustainable environment, this is a part of it.
That's awesome. Just a little bit of the tremendous amount of work that is going on here at Hammer Packaging between the two locations in Henryetta and Gates. We're going to be back here in about 40 minutes. We'll check in and show you another cool part of what they're doing here, you guys.
I like that.
Great.
He's like looking for new business. He's like making the pitch right there on the air.
Yeah, there you go.
It's fascinating. Like, the people who think this stuff up and then make it happen.
Yeah.
So glad people think differently than I do.
That's right. Yeah.
I would just do my label maker and call it a day.
I know. Soup, mayonnaise.
World
Keep up the good work, guys. Our
Iconic logos that you see in the store or at your home are created and printed at Hammer Packaging.
Yeah, it's where we are starting our week-long look at products made in our hometown. Ashley is learning more about all they do this morning.
All right, we're in another part of this. How many square feet did you say this facility is? 400,000?
Well, what we occupy is about 400,000.
Oh
but
my
I think in this facility alone, there's 3 million square feet.
It's outrageous. You guys have a huge chunk of it.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, and continuing to grow.
Absolutely. That's the plan.
So we're in another part showing what you guys do here, and what are we doing here?
Yeah, so this is a different style of label that we make. We showed you a pressure-sensitive label. We showed you a shrink sleeve label. Here, what we're going to do is make a cut and stack label. And you can see these are lifts that come from the press room.
Okay.
Okay? But if you notice, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
Right? But when we cut these, they have to be perfect. So the very first step in the process is we're going to load these lifts into this automated equipment.
Okay.
And you can see that comes right off of the press, and it's not a perfect edge. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But not perfect.
Not perfect.
Not perfect.
So you come across here and you can see how it's making
what this machine does is it actually has a couple of robotic fingers. They're going to to go up and they're going to grab a little bit off the top of that lift. And then there's 2 rollers that spin at a different speed to create like a bubble in the paper, and it's going to blow air into it to help dry that sheet and infuse air and let it slide better on the top of the previous sheet. Then it's going to fall onto this board. And then this is a jogging table. It's going to vibrate and tilt it sideways so that all the sheets are going to be perfect.
Wow.
And when the sheets are perfect, you know, you can see over here they have a lift. And you can see how the edges are perfect now.
Yeah.
So this also counts it and makes sure that we're putting the exact number of labels in a lift. And everything moves on air tables so that we have all the ergonomics, nobody gets hurt.
Yep.
And you can see the little holes that blow air in it like an old air hockey table.
Yeah.
So now these sheets are going to move over to a cutter, and they're going to be cut into strips like this so that we can finish off the process.
Let's go see that.
You want to see that?
I do.
All right.
You guys are doing so much for so many different kinds of labels. We're talking food and household products,
Absolutely.
drinks, so many different kinds.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we're always trying to get into different markets.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we'll be in the pouch business, making stand-up pouches. So this, we missed the step where they cut it into strips.
Okay.
But you can see this is a layout.
Okay.
And we have an individual strip. Now these strips have to be cut into individual labels.
Yes.
And we're going to show you that process right over here.
So much going on in this space.
So this machine is going to index. Everything's pre-measured. It's going to push it in. That knife is going to come down. It's going to cut that lift into 1,000 labels.
Wow.
It's going to have a hold down bar so that it doesn't tip over. And then it's going to move it on over where it comes into a banding machine.
Wow. And all the excess goes up the conveyor belt that way, and the good stuff comes over this way.
Right, and it's going to tilt it onto its side so we keep it under control. And we're going to put it into a shrink wrap tunnel where we're going to keep that sealed so humidity can't impact the label.
Oh my gosh. Again, 23 billion labels, billion with a B, every year.
Yep, yep.
Wow. And you guys are continuing to grow, which means you need people to come fill the jobs.
Absolutely.
How can folks watching at home learn more about that?
Well, I think you should go to our website. You know, go to www.hammerpackaging.com, and you can see what jobs are posted.
Perfect.
You can apply online right then and there, and you should get immediate feedback.
There you
and
go.
we're always looking.
That's amazing to see all that is going on here right in our own backyard that is impacting really the whole world. These things are going all across the world.
Oh, they are. I mean, primarily North America,
Yes.
Canada,
Yeah.
Central America, not really into Europe, but pretty close.
But that's more than just the country.
Yeah, that's right. We're buying materials from overseas and bringing them in here. I mean, we bring materials from all over the place.
There you go, guys. We're going to have all the information for what they do here at Hammer Packaging and how you can be a part of it on our website. So, but check it out, you guys.
That's so cool. And it happens right here in Rochester.
And
so
the
cool.
coolness continues all throughout the week. Other stuff that you see out in the world made here,
Yeah.
we're just going to spotlight it all this week.
Yeah.